Hello, everyone, and welcome to this LinkedIn Live session. I am Yasmin Taj, editor for ETHR World International and head for branded content. I'm super excited to host this interesting session brought to you by FITPASS and ETHR World on a very significant topic today: wellness and the future of work. Before I go ahead and invite the speakers for this session, I would like to state a couple of facts. According to the American Psychological Association, more than $500 billion is siphoned off from the US economy because of workplace stress. And 550 million workdays are lost each year due to stress on the job. 60 to 80% of workplace accidents are attributed to stress, and it is estimated that more than 80% of doctor visits are due to stress. Workplace stress undoubtedly has been linked to health problems ranging from metabolic syndrome to cardiovascular disease and mortality. Today's healthy workplace includes both health protection and promotion. In short, it includes wellness. Healthier employees are the reason for increased productivity, and overall improvements in workplace culture are just some of the benefits that are being seen. With the latest technology and tools available, how can we make our workplace healthier? And in today's LinkedIn Live session, we will delve deeper into how organizations are focusing on building healthier and fitter workplaces and how this will impact businesses in the long run. And it is with great pleasure that I welcome my first guest for this session, Harjeet Khanduja, who's Senior Vice President, Human Resources for Reliance JIO. Hi, Harjeet. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Next up, our next speaker, I would like to invite Akshay Verma, who's co-founder for FitPass. Akshay, thank you so much for joining us and leading this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having us, Yasmin, and lovely to meet Harjeet.
Lovely. So I'm looking forward to a very exciting conversation. I know since the pandemic struck, and even before that, I think fitness, wellness were the things that were being talked about in corporate corridors already. But since the pandemic happened, it became all the more critical. It became really, really crucial. Employees started focusing more on their health. Employers started recognizing that fact, right? So the first question that I'd like to come to you with: what are the key benefits that you see as of physical well-being, and how do you think can that lead to business impact or business growth? In fact. So, Harjeet, would you like to answer that first?
You talked about stress. What they say in management philosophy that some amount of stress is good for work. Where we go wrong is we are not able to quantify what is some. And moment we cross that limit, then uh, you get into all kinds of problems. You get blood pressure, you get sugar, you get obesity. Now, we might think that these things don't affect anyone because we are not physically working. I started my career with the Tata Motors, where being physically fit on the line was very, very important because otherwise it hampers work. Since now people have moved to, say, office based work, we think it doesn't affect. Point is, if you are under stress, if you're not able to focus, if you don't sleep properly, if you're sleeping say 8 hours a day and you start sleeping 7 hours a day, your decision making quality goes down by 10%, and each decision can cost you you don't know how much. Now this is a hidden cost, so you are not able to gauge it. One cost you are able to gauge it is uh, how much your insurance cost is going up because of all these problems which is happening. So you measure insurance cost, but your actual decision making quality is 10 times more than your insurance cost. That is what my thought on this whole piece is.
I think that's very relevant. We talk about physical well-being and we say it impacts our life. We look at it very personally. We do not tend to align it with how it impacts our work life as well. And very great point there. It impacts your decision making. It impacts your overall well-being. And when you're not overall feeling well and good about things, you will not be performing your best. Akshay, what are your thoughts on physical well-being, especially impacting business?
To be honest, like we work with all these large consulting firms to do research reports and diligence reports to come up with numbers. And what Harjeet just said is exactly what the findings are. So the Harvard Business Review did a study where they explained that across 22 industries, this was studied done over 3 years. It didn't matter whether it was L&T where people were working in construction or Google where people were working in in technology jobs, or whether it was a bank, or whether it was consulting, or whether it was the armed forces. It is one body, one mind, and doesn't matter where the human is deploying their skills. Everything has to be protected the same way. Because as long as the human is physically fit and mentally fit, only then can they transform into leaders for tomorrow, sustain the business for tomorrow, make better decisions tomorrow. So they quantified this as every $1 invested in employee fitness saves $6 to the company. And the way they quantified this was that $3.27 is a reduction in health insurance premium over 2 years, which Mr. Harjeet also just said himself, that health insurance costs keep rising because people are unfit. So this is the financial cost. And $2.73 is reduced because of increased productivity, higher motivation, higher engagement, and lower absenteeism. What happens today is people fall sick or people are unfit. They come, they perform at 50% capacity, 40% capacity. They also disturb people around them if they're not. Plus, their decision making is slower. There's laggardness. So all of that combined, that is what the truth is. So physical well-being is one of the core things before. So the word health is defined as what? The state of physical and mental well-being, right? That is health defined as in our class 4 textbooks that we studied in CBSE, ICSE in India, right? So until you are physically able to move, you're not in pain, you can sit properly, your neck doesn't hurt, your wrist doesn't hurt, you can pick up your child, you can do basic things, you can climb the steps, going across the room is not a painful point for you. Only then is your mind able to focus on other things. So physical fitness is very rudimentary to anybody's life. And that is something that we tend to forget. And for this, the WHO published a report called Sitting is the New Smoking. And it is established that sitting is killing more people than smoking is globally. But for smoking, the boxes come with a warning sign that tobacco kills. Sitting does not come with a warning sign. It just catches up to you suddenly.
Interesting. I wish chairs had those warning signs in that case. Yeah, but very interesting facts. I think business, since business leaders, business is about numbers, how numbers are impacted. And very rightly, when you said that there is data now to prove that physical well-being can actually impact business in terms of numbers, how many dollars can be saved, how many dollars can be earned when you focus on keeping your employees fit. That is where employees and I think it makes all the more sense why the focus on well-being is increasing manifold in the past few years, especially. So great points, great data points, especially Akshay, shared by you. I'll come back to you again after I speak to Harjeet about employers and people leaders encouraging employees to exercising and remaining fit. Harjeet, you work with a large organization, thousands of employees. Tell us about your experience. How can people leaders, how can employers encourage people to stay fit in the workplace?
Um, Look, I will tell you my personal experience. I went to gym because somebody motivated me that you should go and you should start gymming. And when I entered the gym, there was a big poster there. Exercise, it was fitness starts with kitchen. And I was like, okay, so first, should I go to kitchen and then come to gym? I'm joking. So basically, if you control your diet and you stop having junk food, which is very difficult to do, but if you are able to achieve that, then your fitness level is generally better. In fact, when you go to gym, they also say the same thing. And there are a lot of myths and notions. We quickly jump to acha theek hai, exercise is the only solution. We get into fitness. So fitness is not about exercising only.
Correct.
Fitness is about, like, are you sleeping well? uh, I was talking to one of my employees. So I asked him, why are you not having food in time? So he was like, sir, work is more important. I said, no, having food in time is more important. He said, usse kya hoga? I said, usse sugar hoga. And he was like, if I don't eat in time, then I will get sugar. I did not know that. I thought when we eat more, then we get sugar. Now, these are some basic fundamentals. If we uh, tell and teach our colleagues at work that these are certain things which you can do to avoid getting into that trap of the stress related diseases. Then um, you can actually lead a healthy lifestyle. Over and above, you can do exercise, and exercise is part of that regime where you eat well, you sleep well, you drink well. By drinking, I mean drinking water. So uh, and you exercise well, then you are able to positively contribute to the organization.
Great points, Harjeet. I think it's about awareness, as you said. A lot of things related to fitness and wellness is something people aren't really, they don't have the right information also at times. So if employers, if people leaders can build that kind of a culture where awareness is brought up, where people are told what fitness means, how to stay fit, that will go a long way in creating a fitter workforce. Akshay, what are your thoughts on that? You work with really, really big organizations across the globe, in fact. What difference have you seen, and how do you think employers encourage fitness?
Okay. Before I get into the data, let me just tell you one thing the way people think, right? When organizations buy a machine, right, they think of that as an asset, right? And they will get insurance for that asset in case something bad happens. But they will also make sure that they have engineers to ensure that the machine is performing at its best. They will have regular fitness checks for that machine because that machine needs to produce at 100% productivity for them.
Yeah.
Because some accountants back in the day said a machine is an asset and an employee is a cost. So when we look at employees, we don't behave the same way. We give them insurance, thinking that if they get hospitalized, we will help them. But not even 3% people get hospitalized. The employer doesn't want them to get hospitalized. The employee doesn't want to get hospitalized. But it is a burden they carry as part of their CTC. Other than that, people talk about wellness, but in India, the word is very, very perversely used. It is largely illness that we protect our colleagues from. If we give them doctor consultation, we give them. So if I'm sitting on a Friday evening and I'm bored, I'm not going to call the doctor and be like, "Hey, buddy, can I have a consult?" It is only if I fall sick will I call the doctor. I will only do a health checkup if I have something to worry about. So these things are very low utilization things, which companies bear the cost for. Most probably the employee bears it in their CTC, and it is something that most of the young audience. So today India is what the average age is 29 in India. That is largely the demographic at work also. Even these guys understand that it is the older people they're subsidizing because they can't let go of insurance. So it is a benefit that they may or may not resonate with because today they are not the decision makers. But the older fellows have to understand that the business will continue even after them. So it is their duty to create leaders for tomorrow that are fitter, stronger, healthier. BCG also did this. So BCG Boston Consulting Group did this study, and they found out that 89% employees actually want direct assurance that their company values their well-being, not their illness, that their well-being. And 67% employees describe that access to a defined wellness program is key to them deciding whether they'll take this job or move somewhere else. This is how people globally are evolving. And this survey is an Indian survey, but largely focused on the IT sector, which is one of the larger employers in the country. However, like I said about the Harvard study, the humans are the same, doesn't matter where they deploy the skills. It doesn't matter whether they're working for Pernod Ricard or Jio or Airtel or wherever. It's the same human beings, same knowledge base, same skill set that they deploy. So one is this how we think about it. And for corporates to encourage this, everybody knows health is not something you can buy. Right? Your fancy car shows how much wealth you have, but health is something you really have to earn yourself. And like Harjeet said, it is absolutely correct. Fitness is not about just exercise. It is about eating right, sleeping right, behaving correctly, value system, ethics, and physical well being. So, all of that combined is your fitness. And funnily, although everybody understands it, corporate leaders tend to leave this major thing on the employee to figure out themselves. That how you want to get fit is your problem, it is not my problem because you have to give me 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day. But I don't care about how you feel, what you feel, whether you can take your 100% back to your family. I don't care. And this is where people are now shifting, their minds are shifting. That if I'm giving 8 hours to you, I need to also make sure that I give 100% back to my family. So if I'm depleted at work and my work doesn't care about how depleted I get and is not doing anything to rejuvenate me or to refill me for my family, then it is a problem. So which is why words like work-life balance are now rudimentary. People are now genuinely talking about well-being and physical well-being. Because if I'm tired, I go back. What do I do with my baby? What do I do with my wife? What can I go out? Can I? So all of that work cannot be everything. Like Ajit was saying, that work is part of it. Right? Health is your number one priority,
Yeah.
and employers understand this, but don't focus on it. They focus on sickness. That is
Yeah.
where the paradigm shift is happening now.
It actually takes me to the age-old saying of prevention is better than cure. I think rather than
Yes.
prevention, we are focusing on cure as an organization, right? That's where the red flag is actually. A very interesting point, Akshay, I must say.
And I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to add this, that this is what the government of India recognized. They realized, especially during COVID, that we do not have the health infrastructure to cater if people started falling sick. What
Mhm.
we call the demographic dividend today. We're calling it this young audience the demographic dividend because we hope that they will earn well, they're aspirational. Tomorrow they will buy more consumer goods, they'll buy more phones, more cars, etc. But if they fall sick, tomorrow they'll only be buying medicines. So
Yeah.
the economy will not be what it is hoping to be.
Mhm.
So even the Prime Minister launched a campaign called the Fit India campaign.
Yes.
From the Red Fort, he said that corporate India must participate. Nirmala Sitharaman, Honorable Finance Minister, said that in the budget. And the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, IRDAI, made fitness mandatory as part of health insurance because they thought the corporate India, who thinks that they are very positive and innovative, are actually lagging behind. And the government changed policy, said, you know what, insurance will cover it. Get
Hmm.
it from your health insurer, but you must give this to your employee. So now insurance covers access to fitness, in
Yes, it
fact,
does.
in
Yeah.
India.
So, just before we jump on to the other question I had, I quickly want to ask both of you, do you think we are going in the right direction? Are organizations stepping up in this? Are they understanding and realizing the importance of wellness rather than cure? Harjeet, Akshay, either of you.
So, if you say whether organizations are going in the right direction, of course they are going in the right direction. And like, if you see, most of the organizations have started doing this. They have started creating infrastructure so that if somebody wants to be fit, you can use that infrastructure. Either they create it themselves, or they lease it out, or through some health partner or insurance partner. In fact, insurance guys also say, they insist that you send people for health consultation, because in that case your spend is going to be lower.
Hmm.
So um, that is one thing which has started happening. And second is, in the environment, if you see, a lot of marathons are happening. These marathons never used to happen before.
Yeah.
People understand that, okay, there are health issues. So now you complete a marathon, and after that you click a photograph and you say, I got a medal for this, I completed so many kilometers. So other people get motivated, people start talking about health.
Yeah.
Now, why marathon? Because uh, this is the way of life, and this
Exactly.
helps. So we are positively seeding people. Another thing which you would have seen people doing is, or organizations doing, is they are sending people for say periodic medical examinations, so that in case something is there, you figure out. One thing which has started happening, not very prevalent, is uh, there are mental health consultations which are happening. So, which used to be a stigma, you can say after Hello Zindagi, people have started understanding कि अच्छा, it is okay to go to a mental health specialist. Mental health is not that you're all crack in your brain. It is about how you feel calmer, and if something is bothering you, you can focus on that.
Yes.
Another
Yes.
thing during COVID which happened was uh, the work hours were unlimited. And then people started realizing, if people are working 16 hours a day, then that is not going to help organizations, and people are going to burn out. So, um, what is the end time, what is the start time, those things started coming into picture. And now organizations as well as managers in the organizations are cautious about it, that
Yes.
how to conduct themselves.
True. True. Great.
So
Akshay, your thoughts on that? Yes.
No, absolutely. I totally agree with what Harjeet has just said, that corporates are Something that they were not thinking about in 2019 and 2018 is suddenly top of mind. Everybody is applying their mind, their strength, their resources to take care of their employees and across the spectrum from preventive to curative. And it covers most aspects of their life and either through themselves or through partners. And that is exactly what we are seeing. 2020 brought 2022, 2021, when we opened up after COVID in November 21, when lockdowns were lifted, showed us as FITPASS a flurry of inbounds from corporates that would have been very difficult to get a conversation with. And these were the top people, where I'm talking about CHROs of multinational companies, American companies, Indian companies, and with employee bases of more than 1 lakh people, 3 lakh people, where they knew that the budgets were going to be considerable, but they knew that the employee was all that they had. So, especially people who are not in manufacturing, who largely rely on the employee to deliver the service. In India, as a country, when we went through development and economic growth, we went from a primary economy, which is agriculture, to a tertiary economy, which is services. So most of our big guys are service players. So whether it's IT consulting, banking, finance, insurance, these are the big guys. And who do they rely on? Their employee. Who's the biggest asset? The employee. Who did they have to ensure is performing at their best? The employee. And this thought started coming to them intrinsically. So today, yeah, we're seeing the BFSI industry and the ITES industry and the consulting industry really looking after how they can take care of their employees. They realize that cost, people like us with technology players where cost is not an issue and we're maybe less than a pizza cost. So from where people used to think entertainment or engagement was about having a pizza party or having a party or having awards, they realize that you have to make their lives, you have to make people's lives better every day. And the moment you do that, the loyalty you get, the retention you get, and the thanks you get is way bigger.
Great points, great. So that actually nailed it, Akshay. I was about to come and ask about the big R word, which started from the Great Resignation to the Great Retention period. This whole past 2 years has been a rigmarole. We started by the resignation phase, then the war for talent phase. There was the war for attraction. So maybe Harjeet, you could answer this first. How do you think can taking care of employees' health and well-being, impact retention in an organization?
Uh, Tell me, if you care for your spouse, do you think your spouse will leave you? So that is what the answer is. I will stop it here.
Okay, that's a very great, interesting answer, actually. And that's the fact, actually. Akshay, what about you?
This is very true. I'll say it a little differently, and these are not my words, but uh, she said she's a leading CHRO in the country, and she said that if you want your employee to be your best, be their best at work, you have to make sure that you help them be the best, which meant in a greater sense that you have to help them be the best in every which way, right? So
Yes.
from their learning and development part to them being physically fit to them being mentally agile to them feeling engaged to them feeling motivated. So you have to do whatever it takes to help them be their best so they can give you their best without feeling depleted. And that is the balance that you really want to achieve. So
And
when you
that is,
have people, when you have
yeah.
leaders who think about their colleagues as colleagues and not as a cost, you can see a marked difference in that organizational culture and somebody who treats the employees as a cost.
Absolutely. I think the bottom line is you think about people, people will think about you in return, right?
Yeah.
It's a give and take relationship. And Harjeet gave a very, very interesting example of a happy marriage, actually. So you take care and you get care in return. So people will be more motivated to bring their whole selves, as they say, the entire whole selves to work if the organization has a priority on taking care of their well-being, be it physical well-being, mental well-being, or even financial well-being for that matter. So I think all of that put together brings a lot of effort from employees. So thank you so much for sharing that. Coming to a bit of your personal motivations and how do you regard fitness in your personal life? Harjeet, can you tell me about your fitness routine, or how do you engage or motivate people at work to be fit along with you?
Uh, Look, one thing right now, like we are sitting, but generally, I walk while I talk. And another thing which I do is I talk about my work, which I am doing right now. And I am not joking. Many a times, like we were discussing that on the chair, we should write that it is injurious to your health. Many times meeting is happening and I tell my colleagues that I am not going to be in the room. I am going to take the call on Teams, and I will be walking around. And in case you feel like that I need to be there in the room, call me. I am around only. So that is what I consciously do to keep myself fit.
That's very, very interesting. Akshay, what about you? How do you encourage fitness and keep fit yourself?
So for me, functional fitness is more important so that all my joints move the way they should be and basic life movements are not troubled. So functional movement requires basic sport, basic stuff like rowing or swimming or running and some strength training. So as FitPass, the whole concept is that it's your fitness your way. And what we provide is exactly that, right? It's not gym, it's yoga, Pilates, Zumba, Krav Maga, CrossFit, mixed martial art, rock climbing, and it's like a buffet. You can do what you want when you want across 5,500 centers in the country. So that is what we do, and that is what our colleagues do, and that is what we encourage people to do. That please do not think of fitness as on and as something that is very distant, as something that is only elite fitness, because the media and etc. Everybody just forced certain imagery on us.
Yeah.
So what is important is that everybody moves and you stay active, and that basic daily life functioning does not become difficult. And an example I'll give you, taking from Harjeet's lead about analogies. In the food industry, we have a word called foodie, right? A foodie does not represent a gluttonous, obese human being. It represents somebody who's appreciative of food and
Exactly.
maybe eating out once a week, does not eat out every day, right? But there is no word for that in the fitness industry. The word is a fitness freak, okay, which is somebody obsessive.
Yeah.
How about a regular guy who does what Harjeet is doing, who's conscious about what they put into their body, who walks a little extra, takes the stairs a little extra, exercises once or twice a week, just to make sure that everything is balanced in their life. And obviously, because we're a young country, everybody look at the cricketer heroes or look at the Bollywood heroes. Everybody owns a gym today. Nobody owns a restaurant, right? Back in the day, Sachin, Dravid, Ganguly all had restaurants. So the market evolved. Even today, a green tea ad on TV is about somebody working out, not about a cup of tea with steam coming out. So now everybody's telling you to get fit, but
Yeah.
nobody's telling you how. That's still left to the individual to figure out.
Yeah. Though there are multitude of options, you don't know what to choose from. But yeah,
Yeah.
interest. Yeah, but that I think what Harjeet also said, it's all as leaders, as people leaders, especially who are listening in today, it's about walking the talk. If you keep fit, you kind of imbibe that culture within the people that you're working with. You encourage people to keep fit and stay fit and take care of their own well-being also. So it cascades down that way. So I think that's how you build a healthier organization. So thanks for sharing that. Coming to my final question for this conversation today, a lot has changed since technology came in, especially in the past few years. We've seen a complete acceleration in terms of digital transformation. So, with the latest tools, resources, and technology available, do you think companies can ride on that or on technology to enhance their fitness status? Harjeet, your views first.
Look, one thing which technology has done is it has made communication faster. So you can trend. So make sure that you are trending for the right reasons. And that is one thing which companies can do. And second is, look, Peter Drucker once said that whatever you measure, that gets improved. So if you start measuring something, for sure it will get improved. So moment you start measuring it, then you start identifying programs around it, and that's how the momentum starts, creating a positive culture and having a talk about healthy environment is more important. Rest of the things people figure out. And look, there is a bit of privacy thing also in this. You, if you, like, in a healthy relationship, if you start insisting and you say, don't eat pizza, I will tell you what to eat, I will tell you what is your fitness regime, people will say, okay, I don't want to work with you. So give people choices and create an environment where people choose the right thing. And that is the difficult job to do, and that is what people are trying to do.
Very interesting point, Harjeet. I think, yes, it's about building that culture where fitness is important, where well being is encouraged, and where people are given choices, options to pick as to what suits them best and how do they want to go forward with their own fitness regimes. Akshay, what are your thoughts on that? How can technology help, especially?
I don't think I could have had a better partner to this conversation than Harjeet. He has said exactly the pain points that everybody faces, whether it is individually or as a corporate.
Mm.
Nobody wants to be told what to do, and you must give me choices. And that is what technology creates. So, somebody like FitPass, that is exactly what we did. And today, we're one membership that gives you access to 5,500 centers, whether you want to go close to home, close to work, close to office, whether you're traveling, access to nutritionist services, access to the world's largest AI coaching platform. So whether you want to work out at home, how you should work out, where you should work out, how your body responds, to live content from 500 global studios. If you wanted to work out like Michelle Obama does at Soul Cycle, that is what you could do here, and do a bunch of other services. So we and for the corporates, you start tracking, and that is where it is like what Harjeet was saying is very important. That culture one is driven from the top. What the leaders do is what the people will follow, because that is why that is your job as a leader. And
Yeah.
people who are not in your position today are looking up to you. But if you ask them also, do you want to be CEO tomorrow? And this is something BCG did. They said yes, but we don't want the blood pressure medicine that he eats. So the idea is that while you want to lead, you have to create better versions of yourself for tomorrow, because the business will also evolve, the needs will also evolve. So one, yes, you must give them choices. Two, the culture must be driven from the top. And three, it must be tracked.
Yeah.
Every dollar spent or every life improved must be tracked. And for
Yeah.
that, technology is of utmost importance. And especially in hybrid environments today, right? Now everybody's coming to work. You need to give people choices that are personalized, that is for them. And it doesn't feel like a pressure for them. It is a way for them to be better. But obviously, you can't force someone to be better or worse. It is the
Yeah.
choice has to come from them.
Yeah.
But you must
Exactly.
enable that. You must not refrain from enabling that today.
Yeah.
Only if you enable that will you see change tomorrow.
Exactly. You can't put them under peer pressure that if the other person's doing that, you have to do that. I think that makes it difficult for them. But very interesting points again, Akshay. First of all, build the culture. Secondly, give them the kind of opportunities, the choices that they can make, they can choose from, they can opt for. That is how organizations keep fit and cascade it down. Just build a culture where fitness is encouraged, but it is not forced down anyone's throat. It's just about making them feel good about themselves and giving them that opportunities and options to choose from. So thank you so much for that. It was a great conversation. Before we end, one quick ending statement from the both of you would be great. Harjeet, maybe your fitness mantra for 2023.
Stay fit.
Lovely. Akshay, what about you?
Just remember, sitting is the new smoking. So every
I
time you
know.
catch yourself thinking that, you will do something to move. And
Yeah.
movement is what is key. Just keep moving.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much on that note. It was a wonderful conversation. I hope our audience listening in enjoyed this. Akshay and Harjeet, very, very interesting points for what brought forward by both of you. I think keeping fit is a state of mind. It is also a prerogative for every employee today. Employers need to encourage that. They need to build that culture, encourage people to feel good about themselves. Prevention is always better than cure. So let's create healthier workplaces by focusing on that. So thank you so much for joining us for this session. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Have a
you,
lovely
yes.
day.
And for all our audience members, I hope you're all joining us on the 2nd and 3rd of Feb for the ETHRNextech HR India Summit happening in Hyatt Manesar, and which will be presented by FitPass. Thank you so much once again for joining us. It was a wonderful session. Take care and bye bye.